Welcome to the important bits of build 42.11 Unstable. This update brings some nice UI changes, balance updates to falling and fishing, a new crafting feature, sneaky map changes, and a gazillion bug fixes that I don't cover in these update videos. Before I talk about the map update, I gotta tell you, fishing is worth doing again. It was nerfed down to the point it kinda sucked previously, but it is pretty viable by level 3 or 4 after this update. If you haven't noticed yet, when you hook a fish while fast forwarding, it returns to normal speed. That being said, you barely need to fast forward with how often you catch fish. The base experience gain of fishing is good enough you will level fairly fast even without a trait or skill book. If you do get your hands on a skill book, you can easily gain multiple levels in a day. You know how there's this cultish compound south of Echo Creek? The one with the suspicious equipment in the basement? Well, now there's an obvious cult camp along the new creek. It has a lovely blood trail going from the human-sized cage to the campfire. A campfire overflowing with ashes. And some leather hanging on the drying rack. A new creek, you say? Where once the Echo Creek and Echo Creek ended, it now carries on all the way to the Ohio River. There's also some branching paths going to other points of interest. This comes with a handful of bridges to avoid blocking older roads, a bunch of rock crossings that allow you to travel on foot through the forest, and two very interesting points of interest. The previously mentioned cult camp and a cabin. The cabin comes stocked with traps and other survival items. Well, some of them seem to be fake for now. Inside is a wood stove, a sleeping bag, and a new locker visual. Once it's all properly working, it'll be a great spot to grab survival equipment. For now, it's only worth it if you need access to trapping without having to fight a horde first. Moving on from that good news, a ton of UI changes made their way into the game. Interactive containers like fires and ovens have options at the top of their inventory window. You can click the top or bottom of a container tile like a fridge to open the freezer or fridge portion respectively. Mannequins have an option to switch outfits or wear their outfit. This is huge for those of us who enjoy dressing up. As for the min-maxers, it's a great way to swap in and out of your armor. I usually use the Lifestyles mod for quickly switching between home, exploring, and dedicated fighting outfits. Now it's vanilla as long as you have a few mannequins laying around. They slapped a ton of functionality on map annotations and used it to label even more parts of the map. The best part? You can enjoy these features in your own annotations. Modders will rejoice knowing they can place default annotations on the map now. Right-clicking recipe mags lets you check the recipes in the crafting menu. This partially works for the growing seasons of seeds. It doesn't scroll that menu for you yet. You can right-click crafting materials and check the recipes they're used in. Well, kinda. The system doesn't function quite right yet. For example, if I check this log, you'll see a ton of recipes that do not in fact use the log. This is due to the way the required items function works. It isn't looking for logs specifically, it's looking for words with LOG in them. The cologne bottle, which has LOG in it, shows up in hundreds of recipes, drowning out the ones that use the real logs. They added modifiers to keybinds. You can now use Shift, Control, or Alt when making new keybinds. The building UI is keybindable, but it's not used by default. While I'm here, check out these unused keybinds for dropping items in your hands and/or your backpack. This is important now with the fall damage update. Fall damage was rebalanced to scale with the amount of weight you are carrying. Quickly dropping your bag could save you from an embarrassing death, as even a single-story fall can be fatal if you carry too much. No more loot goblin speedrunning, guys. Also, if you're already injured, don't jump. The damage you take increases with injuries. Zombies falling 10 floors have a near 50% fatality rate. Zombies falling 20 floors, almost 100%. 50% of the survivors become fake dead, waiting there ready to bite your ankles as you walk by. Okay, that last bit was made up by me, but they will slowly stand up and attack you. Drying racks now actually dry things over time. The feature is pretty bare bones right now as you can only dry one thing at a time per rack. Herbs take 1 day, leather takes 7 days. You can speed this up by increasing their temperature. Mind, this means winter slows down drying speed. The devs will be changing many things with the mechanic, including adding more drying slots to the racks. Hopefully they take a look at heating interior rooms in the future. All the craftable heat sources currently rigidly spread heat via tile distances in a set increase instead of heating up an entire room. The butchering hook requires a large hook to build. You can craft this at the primitive tier forge or loot it from the more industrial places. In line with that realism update, the pottery table requires 2 stone wheels, 1 of each size. You can close the lid on rain barrels and amphoras. The majority of this patch was bug fixes like usual, and I do not cover all of them. I'll mix some in with the other updates I find important enough to mention but not discuss. You can take bricks and gold off of their pallets. Time to get rich, guys. No, really though, there's probably min-max uses for those resources. Far more clay spawns near lakes. Explosives increase the player's kill count. I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but it's only important to speedrunners and big number enjoyers. Molotovs can be made with a single bottle. Turns out you can shove a rag into a full bottle without first pouring it into another one. The minimap no longer uses the debug terrain image. Magnesium fire starters can be used to make magnesium shavings, which act as tinder. Tools and equipped containers are valid for mechanic actions. You finally get to carry around that toolbox in your offhand as you fix cars. Sprinting into a door will knock you over. Furniture is still safe, for now. Rabbits drop rabbit leather. Small animals can be sent into the eternal night while you hold them. No more dropping them first.